everybody, it's Kim here. Welcome to my channel, Neverland. Welcome to my channel, Never Too Late. If you have seen my videos before, you know I'm a hot mess and I just keep going anyway. If you haven't been here before, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. I am a full-time reseller. I am also early retired. I am, working towards finding that perfect balance in my life between things I enjoy, things that are healthy, things that are good for me, and my business, which is my passion. I love finding, unique, interesting clothes, and that doesn't necessarily mean they're a high brand or, a great brand or luxury or anything like that. I really love the vintage, the unusual, the different, just the things that kind of speak to me. And then finding them a home with someone that will get them out there and let them be worn like they should be. I love the idea of saving things from the landfill, of, being a part of that circular economy, that circular textile life, rather than things just being used and then discarded, having a second life or a third life, or, with some of this vintage stuff, who knows what life we're on. But anyway, today's video is just a little bit about what my goals are for 2026. It's a brand new year. In a lot of ways, it's going to be a clean slate. But this is going to be in my business, in my personal life, all of it. And, mixed in, I'm going to show you some of the things here that I'm going to be listing. All of that is waiting to be photographed. My photo booth is right over here. And yeah, a lot of this is all waiting to be photographed. It will be photographed and drafted and ready to be listed on eBay, Poshmark, Depop, Mercari, and if it's vintage, on Etsy. And that will all be happening within this month. All of this stuff will be out this month for sure. This and much, much more, hopefully. So anyway, let's get to it. To start off, I think I would say that my biggest goal, my overreaching goal for the year is balance. That's my word for the year, which I'm going to keep trying to come back to when I feel a little off kilter. Finding the balance between this work that I love, this business that I'm so thrilled to be able to do and build, and my life, my health. I've always said I want to be that, 80-year-old lady who's out there playing tennis, and I've kind of let that go by the wayside. I've been busy. I've been much more sedentary than I have in the past. And so yeah, I've got goals, but you know what? They all tie in together. Your health, your mobility, how good you're feeling, all ties into your work life. It just all feeds off of each other. So I want to find that balance between everything. So let's get started with me showing you a couple of things that I've gotten, and then I'll get into what my goals are. So I do source from all over. So first thing I'm going to show you, this is not the most exciting of all things. It's a Calvin Klein, just a basic black dress. I did get this in a Whatnot show. I have a friend who, she runs a boutique, and a consignment boutique, and she does a lot of Whatnot shows. Or she's one a week. Her name, the closet name is, it's not a closet on Whatnot, but her name on Whatnot is Lynn's Closet LLC, and she has amazing stuff. Everything starts at $3. So I average cost of goods maybe $5 on that with shipping. Sometimes it depends. She also does bundles sometimes. So anyway, nice, just very, very basic. So that's just kind of a bread and butter piece, not looking to make a ton of money on it, but it is a solid, a nice solid black career dress, or just overall dress. You could wear that out to dinner, you could wear it to the office, you could put a blazer over it. It's so versatile. It's kind of a closet staple. So that's a great one. Something else that's a little more flashy. Look at this one. I love this. I wish I had had this in time to get it up for New Year's Eve, but I did not. But isn't this amazing? This is a vintage piece from Briggs. Petite. It's a petite large, but look at this blazer. It is a velvet with this amazing gold and silver circle pattern. I love it. I got this at the bins. I went to the bins a few weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, and I picked up quite a bit. I found a lot of vintage, and this is one of those pieces that I think is just so fun. But anyway, my cost of goods that day was 76 cents. Yeah, 76 cents. And my husband actually found this piece. All right, let's talk about goals for a minute. You know, my goals all kind of changed in December. Like I was going down one path with what I thought my goals were going to be, mostly for my business. And then, you know, things happen in life. You see things happen to people you know. I mean, it's just, sometimes you have moments where you just kind of rethink things. And I had one of those moments early in December, and it kind of took me down a different path. It took me down the path of, yes, I want to grow my business, which was what I thought I thought 2026 was going to be about growing my business to get to a certain level. And yes, I do want to do that. But I also realized that I was spending a lot of time on my business, which is great. That's not a problem. But I wasn't finding any balance in that. I need to work smarter, not harder, or work better in lesser hours than less efficiently in more hours, if that makes any sense. You know, I want to take weekends off for the most part. I still want to have listings and all of that going up. I still am going to do some stuff, and maybe if it's a weekend, we don't have anything planned, I'll do more. But I want to be able to take a weekend off and not do anything if I want to. I want to have evenings off so I have some downtime. I want to do things. And that kind of leads a little bit into life goals. So finding the balance in my business to give myself more time for some life goals. I want to get back in shape. I used to be in such good shape. And then I had some injuries. I played soccer for a long time. I had injuries. And I want to get back to being in good shape. And really, I just love how I feel when I'm in good shape, when I can do things, when I can do the things I want to do and not have my physical condition put limitations on me. Also, for health reasons, I am getting older. I am knocking on the door. 60 is right there, and I'm knocking on the door. And not quite there yet, but it's coming soon. And, you know, I know that as we do get older, it's just a fact. You need to be, you know, sometimes things start, I don't know. You lose your flexibility, you lose bone density, you lose you just lose things, or you can lose things. And I want to do those things that are going to make that I want to mitigate it. I want to do as much as I can to lessen that so I can continue to do things I love, like hiking, going on long walks, just doing the things that I like. You know, being able to go on a vacation and just spend all day sightseeing and not even thinking about, you know, my legs being tired. I want to be able to just do. And so that means eating healthier and exercising more regularly. And one of the things I'm doing with that, which really ties into the finding the balance with my business, is I want to go back to yoga. I love yoga. I feel so good when I'm doing yoga, and I gain flexibility, I gain strength. I can feel my body getting stronger and working better. And, you know, I do have bad knees, I have bad ankles, and so that also ties into losing some weight, not for, you know, vanity reasons. It's more for having those joints work as long as they can. You know, I don't want knee replacement surgery if I can avoid it. And so taking the stress off and making everything work better. So, yeah, I'm going to go back to yoga. I signed up for 2 yoga classes at the senior center near me. It's like 10 minutes away. So easy to get there. I used to take yoga there, and I absolutely loved it. I loved it. And then I got busy when I was working. I got busy at work, and I just, for some reason, never got back to signing back up again. So I did. I signed up for 2 classes on Monday and Friday, so I will be yogaing again So you might see some videos if I make them on Monday or Wednesday mornings in my yoga workout clothes. But that's fine. That's my life. So, yeah. Balance. That's the key. Let's do some more looks, and then we'll get into some details. All right. This one is another one I found at the bins, but a little late. Again, that's why it's on the getting out as soon as possible. I know I probably did miss the optimal time, but I love this sweater. The brand is Chelsea and Theodore. It is an extra large, and it is, it's got like this one little hit of why does my mind go blank when I'm trying? You turn on the camera to make a YouTube video, and all words that you once knew just fly out of your head. Cable knit. Ha! There we go. But then it's got these fun studs around the armholes and down the sides. I just thought it was really cute. So I also got this at the Ben's. So once again, 76 cents. So, even if this has to sit for next winter, that's fine. Or if it sells for a little bit less because it is a little off season, that's also fine. When you can get your cost of goods to 76 cents, you can afford to do a little bit of a price reduction, and that's fine. I really want my stores to be affordable. I want to make a profit, but I also want to bring people affordable things. It's tough right now. Everything is just getting exponentially more expensive. So I really want to find that balance there too between making profit, but also giving people a really good deal. I am a deal girl. I like a deal. I want to do that for other people. I want to give them a deal. So anyway, let's do something else. What else do I have in here that's fun? How about this one? You're getting all bin stuff because that's kind of what's mostly in there right now. But I also got this at the bins on my last bin strip. This is Izod, and normally not a brand I pick up a lot, but this was just so adorable. Look at this little ruffle. It's not really a shirt under, obviously. It's just that little ruffle under the collar. It's got that very nautical stripe, very preppy. It does have a zipper in the back. I just thought this was so quintessentially like that preppy Izod look. And then at the cuffs, it also has the little kind of denim chambray fabric. I just thought this was so cute. I could not pass it up. So cute. Anyway, once again, 76 cents. And this is my little trick that I use because I do source in multiple places. I have this little kind of hack for me so that different colors mean different things. So this will tell me where I got it from. So the blue is telling me that I got it from the bins. So I know what the cost of goods is. Anyway. So with my business, what are my goals with my business? I think my biggest goal is to build up a draft bank. And what that means is having a certain number of days saved up of drafts that are ready to list. They're completely done, ready to list, so that if I got sick and I missed a couple of days of working, I had things to go. If I want to go on vacation and turn my store for a week, I have things that can still be listed. And I have struggled to do that all of 2025. So what I am doing is I actually am cutting in half how many things I'm listing every day, which is like, that's how I feel about it. But I know I'm not going to get that draft bank built. I haven't been able to. So I'm gonna cut back to like almost the beginning, and I am going to list half as many things every day, but I'm going to keep trying to draft as many so that I will build up that draft bank. And I know this isn't big, but I want to have a full month. I want 4 weeks of drafts. Now that doesn't mean that if I, like this sweater, I'm not going to say, well, I'm going to wait for 4 weeks to list that sweater. That doesn't make sense. I'm going to I will, it means they're available, and I will pick from them the ones that I most want to list on each day. So I can also schedule them ahead if I want to, either way. But yeah, so that's my biggest thing. And one way I'm doing that, like I said, I'm going to cut back. And then once I get that draft bank, I'm going to start building back up again. And then I would like to get all the way up to maybe even doubling what I was already doing. So, but doing that, you know, gradually one bump at a time and keeping that draft bank. So if I hit the point where I can't keep that draft bank going, then I need to figure out what I can do to make that happen, or decide that that's just where I'm going to stay. This is a business that is about making extra money for my husband and I in our retirement. I retired early, I guess, and started this little business, or went full time with it. My husband has several years before he will retire. So, you know, I have time to build it. So yeah. So those are like the biggest things. I'm not really thinking about how much money I'm going to make. I understand listing half as many, I'm going to take a hit there. And then I'm going to try to build that back up. So I would like to build up by the end of 2026 and get back to where I was at the end of this year. Not December. December was not a good month. But I had, prior to December, the 4 months prior to December were the biggest months I have ever had. The highest, those 4 months. So I'd like to get back up to that level by the end of 2026. Another thing I want to do is figure out the business model, the best thing for me. I am not your typical reseller in that I'm in a very fortunate position that I'm not having to pay bills with the money I'm making. This is extra money. So I am able to structure it a little more to what I love and less to what makes the most money. And that is a privilege. I do understand that. But I like I said, picking up the unusual things, the fun things, the vintage things that maybe don't make as much money. So I will be doing a lot of that. But then to offset that and make this business actually viable, I do need to find those big, good pieces that are going to supplement. So how am I going to do this? Well, I'm going to try something and we'll see. I'm going to try with my bread and butter, the bins. Now, every once in a while at the bins, I can find a spectacular piece. I don't get to go that often because it is quite a trek there. So when I go, picking up a lot of bread and butter, because it is so cheap and I can have the smaller margins. And then thrifting more often, more locally. But thrifting with a purpose. Thrifting to find those really standout bolo, extra good pieces that I can list at a higher dollar value to kind of supplement. So I have that balance. Once again, we're back at balance. The balance between the bread and butter and the higher end make more of a profit on items. So I can kind of balance between affordability for people and then also sustaining my business. Now, I will probably take offers on even the higher stuff that's maybe a little lower. I don't need to make a gazillion dollars on every piece. I want to make a nice profit. So, that's also developing. We'll see. It's item to item. There's some things are special and that you're like, I have to hold out for this one. And then there are other ones where you're just like, this is really nice, but it's not that special. It's an anthropology dress and it's beautiful and people want it, but it's not. There's tons out there. So this one I'm maybe gonna take a lower offer on or something. I don't know. It's still, like I said, we're working the strategy through. These are just the thoughts of what I want to try. So when I go thrifting at the regular thrift stores where I'm going to be paying, somewhere, if it's not a sale, and I'm going to go more often, so I'm not always going to hit sales, I could be paying $8 for a dress, or I just bought a dress the other day, and I paid $12 for it, but I listed it for over $100, so I'm hoping it will sell in the $70 to $80 range at least. So, that's an okay deal. But if I can't spend $12 on something that I'm going to be listing for $25. It doesn't, the math doesn't work for that one. So finding that balance. supplementing with lower cost goods for the bread and butter, and then going on very targeted thrift trips more often for shorter periods of time to find those standout pieces and really just be very picky. Now, I will say that I am allowing myself some outliers. I can't go in and pick up at regular thrift store prices, I can't pick up every vintage piece that really speaks to me. There's too many. There's too many. Now, if that is a vintage piece that I know I can price high, that's a whole different story. Then it doesn't even count. But I'm allowing myself, one or two pieces when I go of a vintage piece that really speaks to me, that I really just want to, get it out there and give it the chance to be worn. And then also unique, special pieces. So I'm giving myself a little bit of a leeway there. So anyway, balance. Balance between bread and butter, the sustenance of the business, that bottom tier, and then building the topper tiers that are really going to be what get me into that building my business and profiting in my business. So that's where I'm going with my business. Let's do some more stuff. We found some really fun things. Here's another. This is a shirt. Maybe you would call it a shacket. I guess you would call it that. But look at this. I love this. It has like the stand-up collar. It's got these flecks of metallic thread. Isn't this fun? I forget what this was made out of. I don't remember. But it feels like it might be a cotton or a linen. It's Coldwater Creek, made in India. And it's got these beautiful stripes in this kind of green color with this, almost like earthy tone stripes, and then the metallic. I love it. Let's see what it was made out of. I don't, whoops, upside down. Okay, it is a silk blend. It's silk, cotton, and rayon. So it's a really nice fabric blend. It's just fun. Fun. Let's do something else. Now this one, I think it's going to do really well when it comes to festival time. It is a hand crocheted. Oh, that one came from the bins, and this is also from the bins. So both 76 cents. It is a hand crocheted little tank top in kind of these like earth tones as well. Very granola girl, very earthy, very festival, boho. So many keywords. I mean, that's usually a good sign. If I can think of keywords and I can't stop thinking of them, then it's a good sign. But anyway, I just thought this was so cute. It does have one little place here that it just needs to be like stitched. If you can see, it's kind of coming. I may just do a quick stitch right there. Where is it? Here it is, down here. I may just do a quick stitch in there and just kind of pull it back together. It would take 2 seconds. I do have a little sewing kit. But anyway, hand crocheted. These things always do very well. Especially on Depop. So, that's kind of my overall business goal, is to find that balance between doing it how I love and doing my business how it will be profitable. Finding that balance. I spent a lot of time last year really getting my process as well. I have a new inventory system. I have packing and shipping and things over here. I have my photo booth. Everything's kind of close. Moved everything downstairs. So I have a much better working area, a better working system. So it's just kind of tweaking everything and getting the most out of my time. And how am I going to do that? How am I get the most out of my time? I'm going to set myself daily goals. I am going to write down the night before daily goals, or maybe I'll do it for a week at a time and then just keep rearranging at night before I stop the day before. So for instance, I've already thought on Monday it's going to be my first yoga class. I want to make sure I get there on time. So I'm going to get up early. I'm going to get a good breakfast. I'm going to drink my tea. I'm going to have a little bit of relaxation time before I start working. And then I'm going to come down. I'm going to get my shipping done so I can take it when I go to yoga and drop it off on the way. Not really on the way, but you know what I mean, while I'm out. And I'm going to spend some time drafting. I am a part of a wonderful group called Resellers Edge University, REU, and I have a call. They are a great reselling group, great coaches, really so much information. There's a link down in my description that will tell you, that will take you to their page, and I think you get a discount with it. I don't get anything from that. I just gained so much valuable information, and I really love the group. And more than that, just such a sense of community within the reseller community. You know, I have friends now that are also resellers that understand, that I can talk to. It's really great. So anyway, I have an REU call on Monday. They do live calls, and then you can watch the replays, but I'm going to watch as much of it as I can until I need to go. And then I'm going to try to get some drafts done in the morning. That's going to be what I plan to do in the morning. In the afternoon, I have like 3 more bins of things that I need to put into my new inventory system, and decide if it's older stuff mostly, so decide if I want to keep it, whatever. So I'm going to spend at least an hour every day this next week working on that. So it's that's what I'm talking about. I'm not going to schedule down to the minute, because I know that doesn't work well for me, because things change, but I'm just going to put objectives that I'd like to accomplish, and maybe a time on them, maybe an hour working on this, an hour photographing, or photograph 10 things, whatever that might be. And one goal within that too is also, I have a pile of shoes down here, and I don't know why I have this mental thing against shoes. I have some shoes and shoes and shoes. All of them need to be listed. Working on shoes is definitely on that. Handbags. I have handbags. Need to be cleaned, get those listed. Jewelry, those 3 categories I need to get working on. So that's maybe one day the objective is going to be photograph 10 pairs of shoes. So I'm going to start trying to work in all of the little areas that I know I struggle with into my weekly. And then each day I'm going to be able to cross things off, because I love a good list, and crossing things off a list is just one of the most satisfying things in the world. So that's kind of the business thing. I'm going to show you a couple more things, and then we'll talk about personal. How about this one? This is something a little different. This was also at the Benz, but this is a robe. It does have its belt, but it is a really beautiful satin floral robe. Definitely more of a spring item, but look at these beautiful sleeves, and they even have like little velvet bows on the sleeves. Where's this one? Oops, there it is. But just a nice little like kimono robe. Great for the summer, for the spring. Once again, this was at the Benz for 76 cents. So if this is kind of a bread and butter, I'll probably get, I think it might be vintage, I'm not sure. I'll have to look into it a little bit more. But it's, once again, a nice little bread and butter piece. 76 cents. If I make $18 to $20 on it, that's great. All right, another one. I wish I could find something that's not from the Benz. Everything seems to be from the Benz. That's really, oh, here's another one. How about this one? This is another one that I got on a Whatnot show from my friend Lynn at Lynn's Closet LLC on Whatnot. Look at these buttons up the cuff. And this beautiful bird print. This is just like a nice little shift dress. It does not have pockets, but it has these beautiful sleeves. It did, I think, at one point have a belt, but it does not have the belt now. But it's just stunning. I love these sleeves. And then in the back it has a keyhole. It is a midi length and it has these really fun birds all over it. I love it. Once again, probably paid about $5 for it. So, you know, if I can get in that $25 range, that's what I'm really looking for. Even a little less, I can still make a profit on it. So, anyway, okay, let's get into personal life. Well, balance, obviously, getting in better shape, that's all involved. But there's also, if you've watched the channel before, or if you want to go back and watch some of my videos that are posted, I have several videos about anxiety, and I have suffered from anxiety as long as I can remember, really. And a few years ago, I started taking anxiety meds. has been a game changer for me, absolutely. And I saw a therapist for a little over a year, and she was amazing. And between the therapy and the medication, I have really gotten a handle on the anxiety, and my life is just lived so differently now. It is so freeing. It's so freeing. And I know medication is not necessarily for everybody, but if you are struggling with depression, anxiety, I would just, I don't know what I want to say, what the right word is, but I would encourage you, I guess, to find a therapist that really, really works for you. Not all therapists fit all people, so sometimes you have to give a couple a try before you find the right one. But if you find a therapist that really works for you, it can really help you figure out what you need to do to get to the other side where you can really start living your life. And so some of the things that I had done, through my therapy and after that, I've gotten such a good handle that I've kind of fallen off of some of the things that were really helpful. And I want to get back into the habits of some of the really healthy things I was doing before. Like, before I go to sleep at night, as I'm laying there falling asleep, count my wins. Think about my wins. What were my wins for the day? What did I do? And a win can be anything. For me, some days a win might be, I let myself stop working at 3 because I was really tired and my head hurt. That's a win for me because I usually try to push myself past when I know I feel in my heart, I'm done. So yeah, that could be a win for me. Another thing is, it kind of goes along with the wins, but also, just recognizing my blessings. And I think it's so easy, especially now, to get really caught up in all of the things that are going wrong, that you don't have, that aren't working. It's so, just centering and remembering the things that are important that you do have can be really, really mentally helpful. This is going to sound so silly, but I swear it really helps me, especially if I'm in a really bad mood or a cranky mood or I didn't want to get up or whatever. If I go and look in a mirror and smile at myself, just go, I know, it's cheesy, it sounds so silly, but there's something about seeing myself smile that makes me actually smile. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe there's some scientific thing, but yeah, that's just tiny little things that when I do them, I feel better and I want to do them more. Finding one beautiful thing every day. And I mean, some days it is looking out at the bird feeder in my yard and seeing, a really pretty bird there, or having a minute sitting with my dog and petting him and he, is wagging his tail. Like, he's getting older, and, just being able to spend time with him and seeing that he's really enjoying the time I'm spending with him. That is a beautiful thing too. A big husband hug is a beautiful thing for me. Or maybe I go for a walk and I see flowers starting to bloom in the spring, or a tree I never noticed, or, sometimes we have a lot of kids in our neighborhood. Sometimes I'll be inside and through the wind, I'll just hear them walking by doing something and they're just laughing. That's a beautiful thing. A kid outside having fun, being a kid, beautiful thing. So many things, they're just out there that if you just can take a minute, you can find them. So anyway, that's another one. It's just these little things that just can turn my day into a kind of grumpy day to a really happy day. And just recognizing those really joyful moments when they happen. Because I think the joyful moments can come at the simplest times. And sometimes it's so easy to just go right by them, to just kind of fast forward past them, because they're just so simple. But just recognizing those moments and sitting in them for a second and just saying, this is what joy feels like. This is a joyful moment. This is one of those things that makes me feel happy and fulfilled. Recognizing it and just enjoying it for a minute, giving it a name and actually letting yourself enjoy. Because we are so, or at least I am, and I I think a lot of people, we're very happy to sit in those moments where we're angry or frustrated or upset. But it's much harder to sit in those moments where we're happy, where we feel joy. And we need to do that more. We need to get out of those bad moments. And we need to really sit in those good moments and just soak them in, because that is what feeds you. That is what keeps you going. And that is what gives your life that joy and happiness. So, I know I sound like a bad self-help video or something, don't I? That's okay. You know, I used to say that I'm very sentimental, I'm very sappy, and I'm very, I don't know, I'm all those things. I'm a hot mess, I'm sappy, I'm sentimental, I'm silly. And, you know, the great thing is now I embrace all of that, and I'm happy with it. I don't have to be what anyone else wants me to be. I just need to be the person that I'm happy with, and yeah, I'm good with all that. So, all right. So anyway, that is kind of, those are my goals. My goals are to find the balance in my life, get my business going in a way that is both going to be profitable, not break the bank, but profitable, and also satisfying, and I enjoy, and that fills my soul up. And then in my life, being healthier, getting my fitness back and my go back, and then really, really getting back into those habits that affirm my happiness. Finding that happiness in as many days as I possibly can. All right, let's look at a few more things. And then I think I have gone on way long enough. All right, I'm going to show you my favorite find. These were my favorite find at the Benz. Look at these pants. Do you see? Let me hold these up. Do you see these pants? Look at that flare at the bottom. Look at that plaid. Oh my goodness. Pockets on the back. And then look at this label. Hold on, I might have to find it for you. Oh, here we go. Look at this. It says, let me read it first. It says, double knit. Double knit. Look at that. Is that not, I don't know. I'm guessing these are 70s, 60s. Aren't they amazing though? Oh, they just look, they could be in a movie. Anyway, I keep losing the little tags. I'm gonna find them all in the bottom of the inventory box that's right down here one day. Anyway, I do know this one is from the bit, but 76 cents. I just thought these were amazing. This is one of those, I have no idea how this is going to do, but they're just so fabulous. Alrighty. Anyway, let me put these back. One thing I'm trying to do to save time is I'm trying to do things that are similar at the same time. So dresses and tops, I do kind of the same measurements. Pants, skirts are a little different, so I'm trying to kind of get a whole nother bunch of pants. I'm going to do shirts and dresses and stuff, and then I'll get back to the pants. So that's why those are at the end. I do want to get those listed this month, though. But anyway, I know this was kind of a really rambling video without any real purpose, because that's kind of how I roll. I'm a little bit of chaos. But I am excited for 2026. I hope you will come along on this journey with me. You can subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'm going to do some videos of, I'm going to get back into doing some more thread up unboxings, because I really miss doing those. And I'm going to be doing some different jewelry from different places. I'm going to be showing you some of the pieces that I pick up that are the ones that are really special, that have either done really, really well, maybe, or they just have touched me in some way, or just have such a great story. So I'm going to be highlighting some pieces here and there also. So anyway, like I said, if you'd like to come along on the journey, you can hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving me a thumbs up, or leaving me a comment. Let me know what you think about my goals, things I should add, things that you're just like, yeah, that's not going to work. Anyway, get my remote so I'm ready. remember, it's never too late to rethink what you're doing. You know, we can have the best laid plans and then things can happen and we're like, yeah, that's not really where I want to go now. So don't be afraid to pivot. Pivoting is okay. Sometimes it's even good. Sometimes change is good. Scary, but good. So, yeah, just follow your heart. I mean, think about things too, but, you know, get that head and heart balance going as well. All right. I hope everyone is doing well, had a great holiday, a great New Year's, and I will see everyone more in 2026. Bye, everybody.